I wanted a new format for the EU to talk directly to Putin. This was not supported by the Baltic states. Even Poland opposed it, fearing Europe would not be able to develop a common policy against Russia.
This is my video update on this Monday afternoon, October the 6th, coming to you from Moscow. Let's talk about some news. And we have some breaking news for this Monday. The big news is that Learnu, the Prime Minister of France, has resigned. Sébastien Learnu was the Prime Minister of France. He has officially resigned. Macron has accepted his resignation. The guy was Prime Minister for less than a month. 27 days, I believe, he was Prime Minister of France. And he has officially resigned. From what I understand, he resigned because the opposition parties in France, they were not happy with his parliament, with his administration picks. So basically, Learnu, he was going to announce his cabinet in the next few hours, actually. If he was still prime minister, he would have been announcing his cabinet either today or tomorrow. And the people that he picked in his cabinet was just more of the same. It was the same people that the guy before him had in his cabinet and the same people that the guy before the other guy had in his cabinet. It was just more of the same. More of the same failure, right? More of the same incompetence, more of the same failure. That's who he picked for his cabinet and the political class in France, the opposition parties. They were not happy with Learnu, and so Learnu just decided to call it quits, man. And this guy is Macron's best buddy. Like, he is one of Macron's biggest supporters, Learnu. And he's Audi 5000, man. He said, see ya, I'm out of here. I am out of here. The parliament, the opposition parties, they don't like who I'm putting into my administration. And I'm not even going to deal with trying to argue with them. So he just quit. He just called it quits. He just called it quits. He just called it quit. He just called it quits. So yeah, that's it. 27 days of Learnu. 27 days. It's a new record, man. It is a new record. Unbelievable. The Romanovs. The Romanov Boyars. The Chamber of the Romanov Boyars. So, this is all Macron's fault. Instead of being in France and looking after his country, his crumbling economy, trying to fix things in France, trying to fix things for the French people, Macron's been MIA. I said this in a video a couple of days ago. Didn't I? Did I not? Did I not say this a couple of days ago? That it's really weird, Macron is all over the place, but just not in France, right? He's traveling all over. He's in Germany, he's in Copenhagen. He was at a freaking celebration with Merz, the anniversary of the reunification of Germany with Merz. What was he doing there? Why did Merz invite him? Well, what business is it what business is it of Macron's to be the guest of honor of a Germany reunification event? He's in Copenhagen, hugging Zelensky, getting a whiff of that Zelensky number 5, as Zelensky's getting a whiff of Dior Sauvage. He's everywhere but France, Macron. He's seizing tankers, right? That was an embarrassment. The whole tanker thing where he says that drones were being launched from a tanker. So he put out the order for the French military to seize the Russian Shadow Fleet tanker, which turned out to be a big fat nothing burger, and they had to release the tanker. Boy, was that embarrassing. So he's doing all of these things except looking after the French economy and the French people, and helping out his good buddy Learnu. He's not even helping out his good buddy in the post of prime minister, to put together an administration to try and help Learnu as he's trying to put together an administration. He's not even doing that. So yeah, it's completely 1000% Macron's fault. And what an embarrassment. This all is just one big embarrassment for Macron and for France. And he has to call elections now. I don't see what else he's going to be able to do other than call elections, Macron. Parliament elections, he's going to have to accept the fact that National Rally will most likely win. And you're going to have some sort of a cohabitation government, at least until the presidential elections, which are in 2027, right? And that's it for Macron. He's done. He's out. He's finished. But who knows? Maybe Macron is going to look for another guy to replace Learnu in order to avoid elections and in order to avoid a National Rally and Le Pen. How long is that guy going to last? If Macron picks another person as prime minister, how long is that person going to last? A week? What an embarrassment, man. What an embarrassment for Macron. He's got an approval rating of what, 15%, 10%? No one even wants him there. If he was really a responsible leader, if he really cared about France, then he would step aside. He would call elections. Okay, I'm going to have to lower the volume. You'll never guess what song is playing in the loudspeakers. Spandau Ballet, This Much Is True. Yeah. Yeah, this video would get flagged with that song playing in the background. Spandau Ballet, This Much Is True. Anyway, that's the big breaking news from France. What was I saying? Yeah, if Macron was a good leader and really cared about his country, he would do what his citizens want. And his citizens want him gone. The French people want Macron out. He's got a terrible approval rating. He's been a complete disaster. All he cares about is Project Ukraine. Project Ukraine and preventing Le Pen from winning. That's what he cares about. Project Ukraine and preventing Le Pen from winning. He's run out of road. It's over for Macron. So an even more correct thing for him to do is to call parliamentary elections and to call presidential elections. But he's not going to do that. You watch. He's going to try to figure out a way to avoid parliament elections and to avoid presidential elections. He's going to try to find a way to stay in power, to continue the money going to Project Ukraine, and to continue to try and prevent Le Pen from winning. That's what he's going to try to do. Let's see how successful he is. So you know who despised Macron? A lot of people despise Macron, but you know who really despised Macron? Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel was not a fan of Macron, right? They were always fighting each other to see who was going to be the de facto ruler of Europe. There's so much music playing everywhere. Oh, this is going to be a tricky video to pull off. Let's, I need to avoid the music. Let's go this way. So, yeah, they did not like each other, Merkel and Macron. And Merkel, she left in 2021. That's when she was out. Angela Merkel and Pirate Schultz came into power. And anyway, Merkel, she was quiet for a while, right? When she left office, she didn't really say much, didn't do many interviews. Then she gave an interview, which I'm sure she regrets now, but she gave an interview where she admitted the truth as to what the Minsk agreements were all about, right? She said that the Minsk agreements were just a way to arm the Ukraine army. That's what she said. She said the Minsk agreements were a way to buy time so that we could build up, the collective West could build up the Ukraine military for a potential conflict with Russia. A scam. The Minsk agreements were a scam to pull a fast one over Russia and Putin so that they can buy the time, the many years to equip and arm a proxy Ukraine army. That was what Merkel said in an interview. It was confirmed by Hollande. He said the same thing in an interview, as did Chocolate King Porky Poroshenko. They all said the same thing. The Minsk agreements were a way to buy time. And so that was the statement from Merkel in a rare interview that she gave a couple of years ago, which really upset Russia. It upset Putin. Putin was very upset. He did not like the fact that Merkel said that in public, and that was the goal of the Minsk agreements, was to pull a fast one over on Putin and on Russia. But anyway, she said it. She admitted it. And now she's back. She's back again with a new interview. This time, Angela Merkel, in her latest interview with Hungarian media, she said that the blame for the conflict in Ukraine falls on Poland and the Baltics. It's Angela Merkel, everybody. Yeah, they're to blame. They are to blame for everything that's happening right now with Project Ukraine, according to Angela Merkel. She claims, listen to this. This is coming from Angela Merkel. She claims that it was Putin and Russia that were not very interested in honoring the Minsk agreements. This is what Angela Merkel is telling Hungarian media. She realized that Putin was not very interested in the Minsk format anymore. And so she wanted to put together a different format to engage with Russia, to have dialogue with Russia and with Putin. So she suggested to the EU, to the Europeans, a different format, a different dialogue, a more direct engagement with Russia and with Putin, in order to avoid any conflict or any misunderstandings or anything like that. And she claims that her suggestion for a different format outside of Minsk, a more direct dialogue with Russia, was rejected by Poland and by the Baltic countries. That is what Merkel said. She takes no responsibility, no accountability for anything. Angela Merkel. It's everyone else's fault but hers, right? So that's what Merkel said in an interview. And sticking with the Europeans, the EU, we have an article in the Financial Times which claims that the EU is in a bit of an argument with Ukraine over the Russian frozen assets. So according to the Financial Times, in an article they posted with the title, "Ukraine asks for flexibility in spending 140 billion euros Russian asset loan," according to the FT, Merz, Ursula, and Macron, as they prepare to steal the Russian frozen assets packaged in this reparations loan scheme, they want the 140 billion to go to military spending. They want all of it to go to military spending. But Zelensky, he is telling the Europeans that, you know what, we'll put some of it to military spending, but we're also going to need the money to cover other expenses and to pay salaries and to take that money and and used it to fill up holes and gaps in the Ukraine budget. So let's not put all of it into military spending. Let's just put some of it into military spending, and let's be a little more flexible with the 140 billion. And Miss Ursula lady, Miss van der Leyen, we need to be a little flexible with these 140 billion. You know what I mean? I don't want to spend all it on military things. Me and Podolyak, we have some other things we want to buy. Right, Podolyak? Yes, Mr. President. Yes, Miss van der Leyen. We want to buy some other things with that 140 billion. Is that okay? You see, Miss van der Leyen, you can't say no to Podolyak. No one says no to Podolyak. So yeah, that's Zelensky. So they're in this argument now about the 140 billion, which is not even their money, right? They're going to steal 140 billion. They're going to put together this reparations loan scheme. Not even their money, and they're already arguing. They're already arguing about how to spend money that's not even theirs. Pirates, man. Pirates of the Caribbean. Anyway, KALLAS, she's still in Copenhagen, and she spoke to the media after some sort of meeting that she was having. She's in very important meetings, KALLAS. She takes part in very, very important meetings. Stunning and brave KALLAS. So she took some time out of her very busy schedule to speak to the media, who was waiting for KALLAS. And what did she tell the media? Well, she talked to the media about the Russian frozen assets, about the reparations loan, and she told the media that if we do not use the Russian frozen assets, if we do not take the Russian frozen assets, she said, then it's going to fall on the taxpayers, on the EU taxpayers, keeping Project Ukraine afloat. Say what? Say what? I'm an EU taxpayer. Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Stunning and brave. What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell us European Union taxpayers? Right? If you don't take the Russian frozen assets, you're going to make the EU taxpayers give money to Zelensky? Haven't we given enough? Haven't we given enough? I mean, Germany's deindustrialized. France needs to go to the IMF sooner or later to get a bailout. Just about every country in the EU is in recession. I think we've given enough. I think the EU taxpayers have given enough to a country that's not even in the European Union. So that was KALLAS's statement. If we do not take the frozen assets, well, then it falls on the EU taxpayers. I've got an idea. Here's an idea. I hear that KALLAS and her buddies, her globalist pals, have very deep pockets. That's what I hear. I don't know if it's true. Maybe it's not true. But my understanding is that they have deep pockets. Why don't they reach into their deep pockets and they can give the money over to Zelensky? How about that? That's an idea. That's an idea for Stunning and Brave and her buddies, her pals. Anyway, so that was what she told the media, Miss KALLAS. In Georgia, the police, after the protests, they started to investigate the protesters, and some raids took place. And according to reports in Georgia, the police, as they were raiding the protesters and the protesters' premises, what they found is a lot of weapons, a lot of guns, and a lot of weapons. This is coming from Georgia, the Georgia police, and they claim that the weapons might have been given to protesters from Georgian mercenaries, soldiers who were in Ukraine, who were fighting in Ukraine, and they may have been funneling some guns and some weapons to the protesters as they were protesting the other day following the local elections that Georgia Dream swept So anyway, that's just an update on Georgia. That's what the Georgia police are saying. So yesterday we had the Ukraine military from Kharkov city. They launched HIMARS into Belgorod, which is the border city, the border town of Belgorod. And the HIMARS hit the power plant, the Luch power plant, and it caused a blackout. 40,000 residents of Belgorod had no lights, no electricity. And the HIMARS, well, the HIMARS, we know that that they get their targeting from NATO, from the U.S. military. So they launch these missiles from, my understanding is they're launched from the center of Kharkov and the center of Kharkov city. And they launched them with the NATO assistance, and they hit this power plant. They caused a blackout. I love the sound of the bell. Anyway, they launched the HIMARS. They caused a blackout, and what it's going to probably lead to is the Russian military having to create more of a buffer zone. That's what this is going to lead to. Obviously, they haven't created the buffer zone, or the buffer zone that they're trying to create is still not preventing the HIMARS from hitting Belgorod. And so the Russian military is going to have to react to this, and most likely the reaction is going to be to increase the buffer zone. It's what Lavrov said a couple of years ago when they were talking about long-range missiles striking into the Russian Federation, and Lavrov said, you know what, if you launch ATACMS or long-range missiles with, say, a 300-kilometer range, well, then we're going to have to create a buffer zone of 500 kilometers or 600 kilometers. I forgot Lavrov's exact quote, but that's what he was getting at. So that happened yesterday. That followed the big Russian drone and missile strike that I talked about in my video update from yesterday, which was 600 or 700 drones and missiles, 50 missiles, 600 drones, which is now happening almost daily. Every other day, the Russians are launching hundreds and hundreds of drones and missiles into Ukraine because they're producing hundreds and hundreds of drones and missiles. So Zelensky, he said on social media that it's time for a unilateral air ceasefire. That was his statement. It's time for a unilateral air ceasefire. That's what Zelensky said, which is an odd quote, an odd statement from the Green Goblin. Huh? He didn't get into any details as to what he meant when he said a unilateral air ceasefire. I mean, unilateral from who? Right? Ukraine is going to declare an air ceasefire? No. Obviously, he's talking about Russia, right? That's what he's talking about. A unilateral ceasefire for Russia to declare. I mean, he's getting desperate. Right? I listened to his statement, and I was just saying this guy is really, really getting desperate. Let's cross the bridge, maybe. Let's do that. So Zelensky getting on social media and basically begging, I imagine he's addressing the White House, Trump, put more pressure on Russia so that we get some sort of an air ceasefire or something like that. I imagine that's what's going through his head. Who knows? But he understands that the Russian military is ramping up their drone production, their missile production, and now they have the weapons, the capability to launch strikes, big strikes, almost daily. The Patriot systems are failing. And it's not only about energy or going after airfields or anything like that anymore. As I said in my video update yesterday, the Russian military is now going after the rails, the railway links and the railway lines. So he understands this, and his basic ask, his plea to the West was to get some sort of a ceasefire. So that was an odd statement from Zelensky. So Trump was about to go to Norfolk, Virginia, and he was going to attend an event for the Navy. He was going to speak to the U.S. Navy in Norfolk, VA, and before he left, he was asked by a reporter about Putin's suggestion to extend the New START treaty, the nuclear treaty. And Putin, he suggested perhaps a year extension on START. So that the United States and Russia can renegotiate it, because it's the last of the nuclear arms treaties left. And Trump was asked about this idea from Putin, and Trump's response was very encouraging, very, very encouraging. Trump told the reporter when he was asked about extending the START treaty, Putin's suggestion, he said, "To me, that sounds like a good idea." There you go. Diplomacy. A very presidential, correct answer from Trump. A very proper, correct, pragmatic, rational, responsible answer. I like it. I like it. So, Mr. President, what do you think about renewing the START treaty? I like it. I like it a lot. So good. That's good progress right there. Let's hope it happens now. Let's hope that the neocons leave this alone, like Lindsey Graham doesn't whisper in Trump's ear and say, no, says no, Mr. Trump, no, Mr. President, you need to not negotiate a nuclear treaty. No way. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope that Trump sticks with the plan to extend the New START treaty negotiations, and they actually get negotiated over the next year. And it's a good way for the United States and Russia to engage with one another as well. So anyway, I thought I would mention that. And Trump ended up in Norfolk, Virginia. He spoke to the U.S. Navy, and he talked about Venezuela. He basically said what I said a couple of days ago. No joke, man. I'm not joking. He said that in Venezuela, and I made this point, that the U.S. military, they're annihilating so many boats, right, which they claim are trafficking drugs. Okay, whatever. But he's saying that they're just taking out so many boats that there are no more boats left. And I made this exact point. Trump even said that it's getting to the point where there's not even fishermen are going out onto the sea. Not even fishermen, he said. Which, yeah, that's what I was saying. That was obviously going to happen. If you have speedboats with 2 or 3 people on them, and the U.S. military is not seizing those boats, they're not getting on board those boats to see if they actually have drugs or anything. They're just annihilating these boats. They're just annihilating them. If you have a boat, obviously you're not going to take it onto the water out of fear that, who knows, the United States just might blow it apart. So, I mean, that's what Trump was saying. But he was saying it in a good way. Like, he was saying that this is a good thing, right? I think it's a bad thing. But he was saying it like it was a good thing. And he actually said that what we're doing is we're doing a favor. That's what he said. He said, we're doing an act of kindness, is what he said. It's an act of kindness because he claims that these boats are carrying drugs, which they may be. Maybe they're carrying drugs, maybe not. We'll never know. But he said that it's an act of kindness because these boats had to have enough drugs in them that they would kill 25,000 people if they ever made it to the United States. So that was his point there. And then he said that there are no more boats for the U.S. military to destroy. And he said that they're now going to look towards the land, that the drug traffickers are now going to try and get the drugs into the United States via land. And he said we're going to hunt them down via land. Of course, all of this is directed towards Venezuela and Maduro, right? So that's what this is all really about, creating the narrative, putting down the foundation for some sort of an operation and regime change towards Maduro, because the problem with the drugs originates from Maduro. That's the narrative that Rubio and all these guys have put together, and that's what the White House is running with. So anyway, that was his speech in Norfolk. What else? Gaza phase 1. That is taking place today. It started yesterday, the negotiations for phase 1. It is taking place today as well. Let's cross. So phase 1 takes place today, or should wrap up today, and phase 1 is hostages and prisoners to be released. It looks like that's going to happen. It looks like phase 1 is going to happen. And then we get into phase 2, the next phase, which is the difficult phase, right? I've said this in a bunch of videos. The next phase becomes very, very difficult. That's the IDF completely leaving Gaza and Hamas disarming. There were actually rumors yesterday, reports, which claimed that Hamas had agreed to disarm, but Hamas came out quickly with a statement and said, no, we have not agreed to disarm, and this is something that we're going to discuss in negotiations, which are going to take place over the next few days as far as disarming. So Hamas said, nope, there is no disarming, at least no disarming until negotiations. And Netanyahu, in his statements, I think he's made it pretty clear that he's not looking at the IDF pulling out of Gaza either. So this is going to be the hard part now that comes up. The hostages is hard, but that's a hard part. But it does look like that's going to get completed, the hostages and then the prisoner release. So it looks like that component to the 20-point plan is going to happen. It's going to happen in the next couple of days. Trump even posted about this on Truth Social. I won't read you his entire post. It's not long, but that's pretty much what he's saying, is that phase 1 is going well. And the next parts are going to start up of the peace plan. They're going to be tough, but Trump's message was that this needs to move fast, and Hamas better agree to the next parts of the plan, or else. That was Trump's warning. Time is of the essence, or massive bloodshed will follow, something that nobody wants to see. So that was pretty much the meaning of Trump's Truth Social post, a summary of what Trump posted about the plan. So a drone update. Should we do a drone update? This is becoming like a regular segment in my videos now. Yeah, let's do a drone update. So the drones over Germany, they caught one of the guys responsible for the drones over Germany, or at least a drone over Germany, and we're talking about a Croatian guy. That's right, a Croatian guy has been detained in Germany for flying drones, and the police said that he has no connection to Russia. Right? That's what they asked. That's what they were curious about, the media, to the police. They catch a Croatian guy, a Croatian citizen, and what they're curious about, what they ask the police is, does he have any connection to Russia? It's like, okay. Maybe he's just a Croatian content creator. You guys ever think about that? Maybe he's just someone creating content. and you ruined his content, man. You completely ruined his content. Dang, man. But he was flying it over Frankfurt Airport. My suggestion is don't fly drones over an airport, right? You need permission. I just did a circle. You know that? I just did a complete circle. You need permission in any city to fly drones, okay? And you definitely do not fly drones over airports. That's any city in the world. You stay away from airports. But this guy, I guess, decided, you know what? Why not over an airport? And so he got detained. But no connection to Russia. That's what the police said too. They said there's no connection to Russia. Nice Bentley. Very nice Bentley. All right, so let's do a clown world, I guess, and we can wrap up this video. And we've made it back to the river. Actually, I was on the other side. I was over there. So a lot of people talking about Zelensky's shoes. His shoes now are a big topic, not his green outfits, his green camouflage. It's his shoes now, and everyone is talking about the lifts in his shoes. And there are photos now on social media of his shoes. And I have to say something about this. The photos look manipulated. Is it just me, or do the photos look like there's some manipulation, some AI, some Photoshop, something going on? I don't know, because if those are his shoes, then man, bro, what kind of shoes are those, man? It's like Frankenstein shoes, big platform boots. Yeah, man. I don't know. The photos look like they've been digitally manipulated. Grok AI. But he's wearing something. He is wearing lifts, no doubt about it. Because there was a photo in Copenhagen during the meeting of European leaders the other day. And I guess Zelensky or Meloni's PR, they thought it would be a good idea for the two of them to step outside of the meeting and talk about some stuff, or pretend to talk about some stuff in an alley. So they went to an alley, which is a weird spot. Anyway, and the photographers, they took photos of Zelensky and Meloni, and you could tell that Zelensky is wearing lifts in the photo. But the photo's weird. It's a weird photo in an alley. It looks like there's some sort of a deal going down, right? It doesn't look like they're talking about geopolitics or Russia's frozen assets or anything like that. It looks like they're talking about something else, right? Do you have the stuff? Yeah, I got the stuff. How much is the stuff going to cost? It's going to cost this amount of money. That's what it looks like to me. Two people in an alley having a discussion. Very weird. A very weird location for this PR photo stunt. But anyway, there it is. You could tell that he is wearing the lifts. You know who else is trying to look taller? Is the president of the UN General Assembly. President of the UN General Assembly. El Presidente Annalena 360. Yeah, there's video of Annalena speaking to the media, and she's standing on top of a box, right? A crate, as she gives this interview, so she can look taller to the cameras. I don't understand. Why does she need to stand on top of the crate, the milk carton, whatever this is? Why does she need to stand on this if she's just talking to the media? Anyway, they put her on top of the box so she can look taller as she's speaking to the media. Annalena 360, El Presidente of the UN General Assembly. And that's my video, everybody. I did not say in the beginning of the video, did I say in the beginning of the video to like this video? Please like this video if you've made it this far. Give this video a like. If you don't like the video, then give the video a dislike. Drop a comment down below. Thank you to everyone that has been liking the videos. It helps a lot with the algorithm, the YT algorithms. Anyway, that is it for today. theduran.locals.com. We're on X, we're on Telegram, and we are on Rumble. And go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch like what I'm wearing today in this video update. There is a link in the description box down below. Take care.